WNDS Sports presents Candlepin Stars and Stripes, featuring the best Candlepin bowlers from all over New England. And now in our 15th season, your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Stripes, Dick Lutz and Mike Moore.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, and it's the semifinal round of our 5th ladder series. We have climbed the ladder, where the third-seeded bowler will take on number 2 this afternoon.
And that would be Shawn Baker, who lost to Steve Vadney back in November of 1997. So here's Shawn's opportunity to avenge that loss of a couple years ago.
Steve Vadney advanced by beating Kevin Davis last week. The score was 404 to 356. Let's meet this afternoon's bowler, starting with our 3rd seed. He's Steve Vadney from Claremont, New Hampshire.
Big 404 triple last week. Can he do it again this week? Well, certainly has the credentials to. Average of 122. Steve's high single, 197. High triple is 488. Sunset Lanes in Newport, New Hampshire is Steve's league bowling home.
And he'll be taking on our 2nd seed, Shawn Baker from Lynn, Massachusetts, whose last appearance on TV 50 in November of 1997. He's been bowling for 20 years.
He has indeed. Still a young fella at just 23. Average of 127. High single 204. Triple 464. In Lynn, it's the Lucky Strike Lanes for Shawn's league bowling.
And we have $1,050 in our triple strike jackpot. If either of our bowlers can put 3 strikes together, they'll walk out of here with $1,050 in bonus money. Let's get right to it. It's the semifinal match in the ladder series. Steve Vadney and Shawn Baker when we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We'll be right back.
There you see the ladder, the 5 bowlers that began 3 weeks ago. First match, Kevin Davis defeated Jason Esalonis. Then it was Steve Vadney defeating Kevin Davis, setting up this afternoon's match between Steve Vadney and Shawn Baker. When we're ready to go this afternoon from Leda Lanes, it'll be Steve Vadney first to bowl in this semifinal match. Of course, the ultimate winner of our ladder series advances to the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. Steve Vadney to bowl, and he picks 1 pin, the quarter Worcester.
I don't even want to know if there's a story about how we got that name.
Right on the head pin. Look at this, almost converted. Steve Vadney with a 404 last week.
Boy, he got better, Dick, as the day went on, starting at 110, going to 140, and then 154 for a 404 triple.
And last week we talked about how often Steve has been on television, 55 times on Channel 50, 25 times or so on Channel 5, been on Nesson and other TV shows, a total of more than 100 times on television for Steve Vadney. He's on more than Ron Popeil.
Probably wishes he had Ron Popeil's money.
And a spare.
And if he wins today and next week, he'll have a pretty good chunk of change. $1,000 goes to our winner, top of each ladder. As we work toward the Tournament of Champions, you'll see that starting late April.
Now Shawn Baker for the first time. 23-year-old right-hander. Right on the head pin to start out. He's from Lynn, Massachusetts, a real hotbed of candlepin bowling, as you know, I'm sure know by now. Seems as though every ladder series has someone from that Lynn, Marblehead, Swampscott area, Revere, 10 box.
Surprisingly, no Morgans in this particular stepladder series. As I understand it, they were not available to bowl for the roll-offs back a few weeks ago to get into this one.
Shawn Baker right on the head pin.
Actually, the Morgans were participating in the fundraiser for Norm Burke at Pilgrim Lanes back in January. Doing that instead of being here, their unselfish side, which is very nice. So it's a mess up there. A cluster of 3 on the right, a 2-pin on the left, and 8 for the box.
Now Vadney working on a mark. Mike made reference to the fact that the Morgans weren't available for the roll-off, and roll-offs are ongoing at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. If you'd like more information and maybe get involved in a roll-off and perhaps win a spot on one of our future ladder series, give Leda Lanes a call, 603-889-4884. 889-4884 is the number. Ray Simoneau, Shawn Howard, or any of the other staff people here, Chris Bovair at Leda Lanes, will be happy to give you the information, let you know when the roll-offs are taking place. And give it a shot. Who knows? You may find yourself on one of our future telecasts from Leda Lanes.
And you don't need to have a 130 average to make it. We had a bowler in the last series. Name escapes me for the time being. I think about a 105 or 106 average. So you can catch fire and, who knows, find yourself on TV. Dave Oliveri is who I'm talking about.
$10 for Vadney in the 4th. He has 44 through 4. Now Shawn Baker. Shawn works as an electrician's apprentice at Interstate Electric. He is single and lists as his hobby golf.
As many of our bowlers do. But we have an interesting variety of hobbies over the years. We had the one bowler who was into flying kites.
Another was into trains.
Yeah, that's Rich Clark, who we'll see next week. What little time he has running the Clark Farms. Nice
There's
shot.
a nice spare for Shawn Baker. Off the head pin, but putting 6 in the spare.
1, 3, 7, and 10 with wood in both corners. Now the wood on the left moving toward the center of the lane, and it rocks right back toward the 7 again, where it will finally come to rest.
Took the head pin cleanly. An 8-box and a 2-pin lead for Steve Vadney after 4 frames. Next week, the championship match. The winner of this match will take on top seed Rich Clark, the lefty from Bedford, New Hampshire. Vadney missing the head pin.
And the winner will go on to join the Tournament of Champions ladder that's currently in progress. Jack Ray up at the top. Don Richmond, number 2. Gary Santora is 3rd. Steve Platt, our last ladder winner, is 4th at 353.
Well, Vadney did everything except make the spare. Threw it right where he thought he had to throw it and couldn't get the break. 10-box for Steve in the 5th, the 54 half.
Well, he started slow last week and certainly finished with a flourish. 110 was his first game. He's about on pace to do that again. Just a 4 drop. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Again, he put it right where he thought he had to be and could not convert it.
Into the channel for a 9. 63 through 6. Opening the door for Shawn Baker to perhaps open up a bit of a lead. They've been pretty even so far.
On the Brooklyn side, you could hear him as soon as he let the ball go. He groaned, didn't like the shot.
A high of 204 for Shawn, as you see a 10 box here to keep pace, still trailing by 2.
Shawn is ranked number 9 so far this year in the WCBC men rankings. He came in 6th at the Bolomat Beverly Mass tournament in January, so he's having a good year. He was number 20 last year. He's up to the number 9 position. Of course, it's kind of a prestigious award, no extra money to go along with it, but they rank the bowlers at the end of each season based on total pinfall of their best, I think, 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 tournaments.
This time he picks up the spare. Second mark of the first string for Shawn Baker. We'd like to hear from you wherever you may be watching our Candlepin Stars and Strikes telecasts. You can send your cards and letters to WNDS, 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038. We'd like to know where you are, what you're doing while you're watching. And if you have any Candlepin bowling anecdotes you'd like to pass along, we'll pass them along to our viewers. A 7 box for Steve Vadney.
He's kind of hit a dry spell since his second frame spare. 5 unmarked frames now.
Bounces that one a little, but it'll take a strike.
Nice way to snap out of a drought, I'd say.
If you were watching a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the lob line. One of our viewers inquired as to why we didn't use a lob judge, and it's just not deemed necessary. It's not abused by the bowlers, and it's to the bowlers' disadvantage if, in fact, they lob. And a skip lob happens a lot where the bowler bounces the ball before the lob line, and then it bounces over the lob line, and that is a legal shot, so that's not an issue. Again, Shawn picked the head pin. .79 through 7 for Shawn Baker. And he's up against a Steve Vadney strike in the 8th frame. And a spread eagle. Have we seen our share of those over the last several weeks? And we've seen it made a couple of times.
How many did Kevin Davis have the last few weeks?
A bunch.
Yeah, we have seen it made 2 times in the last month or so.
Saw Mike Morgan make it once, saw
Yeah.
Kevin made it once. Kevin Davis. And that will be a 9 box for Shawn Baker. And now Vadney on a strike, $1,050 for 3 strikes in a row. He's a third of the way there. Sounds easy, doesn't it?
Back here, it looks real easy.
Looking for number 2. Grabbed the head pin, but not enough of it. And he missed the spare.
Steve hasn't found his groove quite yet, as he did last week in the 2nd string.
98 through 9. Box to box, we're dead even in this match. That was in the 1-3 pocket, but he leaves the 6 and 10 with some wood. Got a shot at it. He's got it.
Nice time for that one in the 10th frame. The 4 and the 10. Using the wood between the 2 pins, sliding it over to the right.
He has 108 plus this ball. A 110.
Same as last week.
A half Worcester on the spare. 110. Now Baker with 88 through 8.
He will need a mark to take the lead in the first string. Strong on the head pin. He throws the ball hard. His backswing comes all the way back. Oh, Shawn danced it down, tried to get it to go. Little body English there, couldn't quite get them all. And he'll take a $9.
He'll need a mark to beat Steve Vadney. He'll need actually 14 pins to take home the victory. As we mentioned a couple years ago, these two guys met on our show with Steve Vadney winning, and then Steve Vadney went on to lose the next week to Tom Morgan, 364 to 350.
Right in the 1-2 pocket that time on the Brooklyn side for Shawn Baker. Threw it past the object pin, and it will be a 10 box and a 107 for Shawn Baker, a 3-pin lead for Steve Vadney after one of this semifinal match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. We're back after this on WNDS TV. Shawn Baker will be first to bowl in the second string, and he takes a 3-pin lead into the middle string of our 3-string match. It's the semifinal round of our 5th ladder series on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Baker on the head pin. Dick Lutzk with Mike Moore and our entire WNDS TV 50 crew here at Leda Lanes. Our director today, Ken Knight. Working audio is Larry Taylor. On tape, Dave McCarthy. As Baker's unable to convert. Lisa Law is handling the graphics. Paul Hunter is on video. The camera crew is Steve Giordani, Leroy Cass, and Kevin LaFond. Did I mention Dave McCarthy on tape? Don't know if I did. Might have skipped past Dave's name.
Let's check the tape and find out.
All right, here's Shawn Baker with the strike. He was distracted by the crowd for a moment, double clutched on his start, and then it's a good thing he did. He has to like the outcome.
It was worth the wait.
Now Vadney starting the second string off the head pin. Almost converting. And there goes the 10. The 7 still stands. $10 the hard way for Steve Vadney. Using everything available to him.
Still looks to be groping for some kind of a groove. Hadn't found it yet.
This time he's off the head pin to the right side.
Exactly.
Overcompensating.
Time to split the difference. Home in on the head pin. Try not to leave too many spread eagles. It's the 1 and the 9. Very tough spare to make.
But he's got it perfectly. Well done by Steve Vadney. Absolutely perfectly placed. As Michael mentioned, that is not an easy shot.
Looks awfully easy, doesn't it? If you don't hit it squarely, the ball deflects, and so does the pin, and everything misses the 1 in the back.
Do you think they were thinking triple strike?
Of course. I saw Ray Semino reaching for his checkbook on that one.
That was his bid for his second strike in a row, but he puts a spare inside the strike. And now he's looking for bonus money.
Oh, so close to a triple
one
strike.
pin away. 1 pin away from $1,050.
The stingy 6-pin on the middle frame there. What a nice start for Shawn Baker.
And Steve Vadney continues to struggle, but he gets a break. Lots of wood on the deck. How it will play remains to be seen. Not able to get across to get the 10 pin. That'll be a 10 box for Vadney, and he's up against a whole bunch of marks right now. Still can't find the head pin. He's off the head pin. He's off his groove. And the head pin still stands, as do the 4, 6, 7, and 10. And that will be a 7 box for Steve Vadney. And we'll take a break with Shawn Baker working on 3 marks in a row, and we come back to this semifinal match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Shawn Baker ready to go in the 5th frame of the 2nd string. He has 3 marks in a row. Strike, spare, strike. $50 in bonus money. Right on the head pin. He was 1 pin away from 3 strikes in a row. He had strike 9, spare, strike. Missed the head pin.
That was a nice half.
79.5 for Shawn Baker. Right in the pocket.
Whoa.
Feast or famine for Shawn Baker. Mostly feast.
Well, you know, he struck every time this game on lane 33, Dick. Every time.
Watch it again. It took absolutely no time flat for those pins to go down. Yep, 33 has been his strike alley. Here's Vadney missing the head pin again. Steve's got to find that head pin.
Makes it even double frustrating when your partner is marking up the sheet with spares and strikes like crazy.
That's a nice spare for Steve Vadney coming back.
Just needs to stay with it.
He's been through this before.
Yes, he has.
Don't think much would bother him.
Figured over 300 strings on TV over the years. Takes a lot to rattle him.
Right on the head pin there. Can he break up the split?
No, but he's got a nice nice lead
Well,
as far as pins go.
If that wood on the right is frozen to the 6 pin, that would help him. I'm not sure if it is. It is. It was, and it gets the spare.
Steve Vadney is far from done, folks. He's going to make a run right now at Shawn Baker, who's working on another strike on lane 34.
Look at the intensity in his eyes. Right in the pocket. He wanted that 5 pin to get taken down by that piece of wood. Didn't happen. Makes it a very difficult shot right now.
Yeah, parallel wood, 5, 6, 4, 5, and 7, 8, rather.
.105 for Shawn after 7. And if form holds, he'll throw a strike on lane 33.
Well, he has 3 out of 3 times this game already. Nothing even came close to the 7 pin.
You wonder how, in the laws of physics, that pin still stands. Spare.
Nice shot.
Just kept it on the alley. Well, 33 has been his alley, that's for sure.
That's the first spare that he had to shoot in this whole game on that lane.
All right, now Vadney working on 2 marks in a row. He's on the head pin that time. Whoop, don't, they're not done yet.
There's a nice break. Considering he kind of dumped the ball out there, didn't let it go too smoothly.
Well, the wood surrounds this. This is very makeable if he keeps the ball on the alley.
He's going to wait for it. Pins are still rocking back and forth. 3 pins out with the 3 pins standing up.
That's a spare. $50 in bonus money for Steve Vadney.
Who's hanging tough with Shawn Baker, who's been almost unstoppable this game. He's left only 1 pin, Shawn Baker has. And that was in the 7th frame.
Vadney's found that groove again. He missed the head pin that time, though. Well, he's certainly keeping it within distance. Got it. Oh! Thought he was going to make it. Looked as it left his hand as if it was placed perfectly. And he'll take a 10 bucks. 102. I thought he made the shot.
Look good. Stubborn 4-pin would not go.
10-pin lead in the match for Shawn Baker.
Now, if he could
Plus whatever he gets on this ball.
If he could get a strike here and then get over to lane 33 where he likes to throw strikes, we might see something happen here.
And he broke up. Now, this is a tough one. Parallel pins, as Mike has mentioned.
Still looking at a 150 game if he can mark in the 10th.
He's at 132 with a box to go. He threw a 107 in the first string.
Both bowlers stepping it up for the second match.
Well, again, that was in the pocket, but look what's left.
Didn't catch much of the pocket, just a piece of the head pin. Ball deflected off and only 6 went down.
Whoa, the 10 pin still stands. It was the 4, the 8, the 9, and the 10, and the 10 pin still remains. 142 second string for Shawn Baker. Now Steve Vadney. On lane 34. In the pocket. Look what still stands. The 7 and the 10 with some wood. And the wood, well,
what I can see
could have
happening
been
is
better.
getting the 10 pin and everything missing the 7, including the ball going around it.
That pin in the gutter might bring the ball back in. Went around the 7 pin, just as you thought. .111.
Well, still Steve Vadney could pull off a 130 game, which would just put him less than a mark behind since he carries a 3-pin lead coming into this match to start with.
He does need a mark here. On the head pin, but can't break up the split.
That was one of his better thrown balls in terms of being smooth and to the head pin, but he caught too much of it.
It'll be a 20-plus lead for Shawn Baker. Let's see, it's a 120 string. A 19-pin lead for Shawn Baker going to the 3rd and final string of this semifinal match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Don't go away. The 3rd and decisive string is coming up next on WNDS TV. Steve Vadney steps to the line on lane 34 to start out our 3rd and final string of this semifinal match, with Shawn Baker in the lead by 19 pins going into the 3rd string. And Vadney starts out with a 9-pin drop.
Much better thrown ball. If he can keep it in that range, he'll be okay. He owns one WCBC Tour title. His many years on the tour.
Spare for Steve Vadney to start out the third string. And again, you keep in mind the fact that he's been on television 100 times. Shawn Baker's been on TV quite a few times, but not nearly as many as Steve. Right in the pocket.
Trick here is to get that 10 pin down. Not to mention the 2 and 8.
Ooh. That's the most animated we've seen Steve all afternoon. Gave it a little kick. And that will be a 9 box.
Yeah, let's see how our official score, Chris Bovair, scores it a 9. So 9 it is. And he gets no argument from Steve. Bowler ultimately makes the call in a case like that. Not the scorekeeper, not us. The bowler decides. Of course, he has to live with the consequences of his opposition if it's not the right call.
There's Baker with a bullet.
You want to keep your eye on the lob line. That was pretty close.
And he matches the Vadney spare in the first box. Right in the pocket. He likes 33, doesn't he? He's really on the head pin on that lane.
He did until that. 5-7 split with no wood to help him out. Got to make a complete slice or cut shot on this one.
No, won't make the spare. I want to tell you about the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge right next door to Leda Lanes in Nashua, Route 101A on Amherst Street. And that'll be a 9 as again down the channel. The Kahala has a terrific lunch buffet. We enjoy it when we come to Leda Lanes every Monday through Saturday from 11:45 to 2 p.m. just $5.95. A terrific selection of delicious Chinese dishes. And the dinner buffet on Thursday from 5 to 8 and Sunday from noon to 8 p.m. So if you're watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes and its first showing on a Sunday afternoon between 12 and 1 p.m. right after the show, head on down to the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge for their wonderful dinner buffet, $8.95 for all you care to eat. As Vadney converts, and he starts to make a little bit of a run at Shawn Baker. The Kahala offers a new selection, new menu items all the time, and the luncheon buffet is terrific. A terrific selection of Chinese and Polynesian specials, lunch specials daily from 1:30 to 3. Something for everybody.
And really friendly service.
Nice people, really nice. We enjoy going there, and it's a fun time that we have when we come down to tape. So next time you're in the area of Leda Lanes and the Kahala, make sure you stop in at the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge on Amherst Street, right next to Leda Lanes in Nashua. Steve Vadney with another mark. He has 3 marks in the first 4 boxes of the third string, trying to narrow the gap.
That was the 2-6-8. What a beautiful shot that was, shoving all the wood over into the corner.
All right, here's Baker on lane 34 trying to break up the split. Can't break up the split. The wood is favorable, I think.
Very, very favorable. It's the same shot that Steve Vadney had in the second frame. A little bit different wood, but much better wood for Shawn here.
And there it goes.
Nice.
So the bowler's picking up the pace here in the third string. Vadney marking and Baker equal to the task, matching him, responding to the challenge. In the pocket on 33 again. It's uncanny. Puts 9 in the spare.
And manages to lengthen his lead, at least completed frames, despite the fact that Vadney has 3 out of 4 marks.
And another spare. And we go to the break. The bowlers matching marks here in the third string. Shawn Baker holds on to the lead in this semifinal match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. We'll be back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire right after this. Steve Vadney moves to lane 34.
Nice looking gallery joining us again.
Great crowd today.
Third week in our 4-week ladder. This is ladder number 5.
Vadney on a spare. Tries to break up the split. The 5 and the 10 still stand.
Well, he hopes that it spins in a favorable direction.
It did not.
No. However, if he gets it on the inside, yeah.
I don't know if that wood to the right is helpful. Here's the shot. What a shot by Steve Vadney. $50 in bonus money. And just a great shot. Watch it again. He played it off the wood perfectly. Didn't think he had enough of an angle, but he did. On the spare. Again. Right on the nose. Now let's see what he does with the wood now.
You love that wood to get on over the other way.
Turns. Here it comes. Here it comes. It stops.
This isn't going to happen. Well, he did pick up $50 here. A little bonus money on that third spare. Keeping the heat on Shawn Baker.
Well, let's see how Steve decides to play this. Going to try and slide it over. Nope, gave it a shot. Now he continues to apply the pressure to Shawn Baker, who needs to mark to maintain his lead.
Baker's been responding every frame so far to Steve Vadney's marks.
Nope, not this time. At least not yet. That's a deuce in the spare.
Took out the 3 and the 6. 8 pins left.
Right on the head pin there. Will he get it to go? The 10 pin still stands.
So there's a break for Steve Vadney. Tightening things up. But Shawn Baker will be bowling opposite of Steve Vadney 10 box here in the 6th.
If he doesn't mark, we should have a margin of around 10 pins with 4 boxes to go, and he puts a spread eagle up. He's right on the head pin on that lane all the time, but that time got too much of it. Took it right straight through. Nice 10 box as he picked up the spread eagle. An 8-pin lead for Shawn Baker with 4 boxes to go. This is anybody's horse race right now. Here's Vadney in the pocket, leaves himself a spare opportunity as he cleaned up the right side. The 2, the 4, and the 7. Spare for Steve Vadney.
Threw a little body English into that one. And that's his 5th spare this game. Came into this match trailing by 19 2 years ago, or about a year and a half ago. These two guys met, and Steve Vadney won by 15 pins.
Right in the pocket, strike for Steve Vadney.
That one didn't take long to go down, did it?
That was right in the 1-3 pocket. Watch it again.
Beautiful.
There they go. Now Shawn Baker has the pressure on him. Baker right in the pocket. He busts up the split and leaves the 10 pin.
He really was a little too full, but the brute force of the power of that ball took out the extra pins, leaving only the 10.
Baker picks up the spare. What a clutch spare for Shawn Baker. Responding to the pressure that Steve Vadney is trying to put on to come back into the match, Baker responds with a real impressive spare.
A great match this has turned out to be.
Puts 5 in the spare. Again, he was on the head pin on that lane, but didn't get much of a break. Look at that shot by Shawn Baker.
Is he fired up or what?
Whoa! What a great shot. Absolutely perfect. And how important was that, Michael, as Vadney's trying to come back into the match? Vadney on the head pin.
Kind of a rough delivery on that one, but he got away with just the 2-4-5. Very makeable spare to fill his strike. And possible bonus money.
Bonus
right
money here. There it is. $50 more in bonus money for Steve Vadney. He has $150 in bonus money in the match. Made $140, I think, last week in bonus money. Steve again tries to break up the split. The pins continue to fall. Look at this.
Now let's count the pins on the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 pins on the
and
deck.
One standing.
One standing. Isn't that something?
Oh!
He took it in slow motion.
Look at this. What a game.
He is at 158 plus a ball.
Possible 398 triple with a strike right here. Shawn Baker has his work cut out for him.
Missed the head pin. Look at the break he got. It's still possible to get one more. It will be a 7 in the spare. A 165 for Steve Vadney.
Shawn Baker needs a 147.
Needs a couple of marks.
He needs 147 to win this game. Which means 2 marks and good fills.
Baker, oh, look at this. $50 for Shawn Baker.
2 heavyweights slugging it out.
Wow. Watch it again. Shawn really right on the money. Now he moves on over to his favorite side, 33. Missed the head pin.
Really kind of babied that shot. Didn't have quite the oomph that he had on his last one. Needs a good fill here. He can still win it.
Nope, not going to happen.
That's it. Steve Vadney again defeats Shawn Baker. What a match.
Final
9
137. A 9-pin win for Steve Vadney, coming from behind with a 165 third string. And he'll advance to the championship match next week against Rich Clark. We'll come back to meet our bowlers in just a moment from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV.
Steve Vadney has advanced, coming from behind to defeat Shawn Baker. The final score 395 to 386. That's one of the more exciting matches we've had in recent weeks. Let's show our appreciation to the bowlers. That was a great match, wasn't it, everybody? This afternoon here at Leda Lanes, as Steve Vadney really coming from behind and brought the crowd virtually to the feet.
Steve Vadney's been very predictable the last couple of weeks. He starts with a 110 and then he just goes nuts the last 2 games. It's the only way to put it.
It was a really exciting come from behind win. Let's bring up Shawn Baker, our runner-up here this afternoon. Shawn, tough way to lose. That was a terrific match. $250 for you for being runner-up. $50 in bonus money. Off to a great start. Not much what you can do when you get Steve putting up the marks like that.
Oh, yeah, he just got hot, and you got to take your hat off to him. He threw a great ball. A couple bad balls and a couple marks just did me in.
You seemed to find a real groove on lane 33 earlier in the match, where you were on the head pin all afternoon long. What was it about that lane that made it so special?
Nothing really. Just felt comfortable up there. Even both alleys. It's just the way it is. That's all, I guess.
Yeah, it's a tough game of inches, and it changes from week to week and game to game. Thanks very much. Shawn Baker, our runner-up here this afternoon. Terrific performance by Shawn. A shame to throw a 386 and lose, but he did just that. Steve Vadney will throw a bonus ball, and we'll try to match him up with a winner at home. The crowd cheering on. And nobody picked 4. Nobody yelled 4 in the crowd.
You think there's a 4 in here, Steve?
See if we can find a 4 in there. See if we can match it up. It is not. I see it's Mrs. Emma Klopp of Winchester, and she chose 8. So a consolation prize for Emma. And let's see, 10 free strings of bowling to Janet Pidge of Watertown, Massachusetts, the second card drawn here this afternoon. And Steve Vadney, congratulations to you. $170 in bonus money goes along with your appearance next week in the championship match. And as Mike mentioned, a slow start, but boy, once you found the groove, you were really on that head pin.
Yeah, something like last week. a little tight the first game, and then got it turning around in the second game. But third game, Shawn bowled really well. I mean, every mark I put up there, I said, well, that's one more he's got to get, but he kept coming and coming, and fortunately, I got a break in the 10th.
Experience in being under the lights on television, you've done it 100 times or so. Does that come into play late in stages of a close match like that? Do you feel more comfortable, or do you get nervous like almost anyone else would?
Well, I'd rather be the second bowler, but in the ladder that we run here, I can't be in this case, but yeah, it comes down. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and there's no defense in it. You can't tackle the guy or anything, so do what you do and hope for the best. You know?
It worked out well for you, Steve. Congratulations. We'll see you next week. Steve Vadney, our winner here this afternoon. A terrific match, a 165 third string, and he moves to the top of the ladder.
You know, Steve Vadney in the last 2 weeks is averaging 160 for his third and final strings, starting at 110, then going to 130 for his second game, and 160 is his third game average. We'll see how he fares next week against our top seed, Rich Clark.
And the winner of that match will advance to our Tournament of Champions at the end of the season. So that'll do it from Leda Lanes in Nashua. For Mike Morin and our entire WNDS TV 50 crew, I'm Dick Lusk. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV for our championship match. So long, everyone.